as the European Union is developing its genuine European energy policy, it is also, I think, necessary to reflect on what energy mix best represents the interests of the citizens. And it is clear that with everything what is happening now in Japan, this is of an utmost importance for the choices we shall make on this energy mix. We have to accept, and we see now, that security of nuclear energy is essential. Also that apparently a risk-free nuclear energy is not of this world. We know also that real stress tests for the nuclear power plants are important.
The crisis has still not been resolved, and the situation at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant remains very serious. At this stage, the priority remains stabilizing the nuclear reactors and restoring safety. The current international emergency response framework needs to be reassessed. The agency's role in nuclear safety may need to be re-examined along with the role of our safety standards. It is already clear that arrangements for putting international nuclear experts in touch with each other quickly during a crisis need to be improved.
What happened at the Fukushima No. 1 nuclear power station in Japan is not just the tragic and costly outcome of an engineering failure as a result of a malfunctioning piece of equipment or some generic feature of a boiling water reactor being overwhelmed in that particular locality at that particular time by earthquake and possible following tsunami. In other words, the Fukushima accident was a failure of the very regulatory system itself. It was an institutional failure. Moreover, because of the universality of the international nuclear safety regulator system, this failure of a nuclear system at Fukushima in Japan could equally, as chance would have it, be repeated elsewhere in the United States, in Britain, France, or indeed in any one of the 16 European and community states that operate nuclear plants.
In the 20 years that we've just seen pass, the IAEA has analysed the Chernobyl catastrophe, but this has led to a rather negligent attitude to accidents at nuclear power plants. Nobody has drawn the conclusions, really, from the Chernobyl catastrophe. The IAEA, in its current form, is clearly unable to do its job. The non-proliferation of nuclear weapons and ensuring the safe use for peaceful purposes of nuclear energy.
Safety is the lowest common denominator here. It's the one thing we all agree on, and that must be part of how we assess new risks and how we develop standards in the light of what has happened in Japan. 30% of our electric power in Europe comes from nuclear power plants. And I think that we should say, in all seriousness, that when we look at our energy roadmap for the next few years, nuclear power will be part of it. We've got to test, we've got to ensure we have higher standards, more safety, less risks. A nuclear power industry without any kind of risk is, of course, a pipe dream. We have to deal with the risks we can't get rid of, the residual risks. And then there's a question of how we can limit risk and when you reach the point where you can't afford to safeguard against risk because it's no longer profitable.